They got me looking crazy.
The Joe Show is off and running with a combo.
Joe Cool. Showtime.
Well, it's Sunday Night Football from Baltimore for a showdown between AFC North rivals. It's Lamar Jackson who bet on himself and looking clean, turning down a contract offer over the offseason, and so far it's paying off. He's playing like an MVP right now for the Ravens. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow going with all black, no Joey Flowers today. He's got the Bengals back in business after a slow start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Football Night in America. I'm Maria Taylor alongside Tony Dungy and Chris Sims. We gave Jason Garrett the night off, a late night in Vegas, calling a game. Exactly. But, Tony, I want to start with this Bengals offense going up against the Ravens. I mean, they're last in the league in passing yards allowed, so I bet the Bengals are licking their chops right now.
They probably are, but it's going to be interesting tonight because the Bengals offense looks for big plays. They want to score and score fast. On the other side, the Ravens look for takeaways. So who's going to do the job, big plays or the takeaways?
Yeah, I'm excited to see big plays from both of the quarterbacks. That's what I can tell you for sure, right?
Those clean guys.
Exactly right. They look good on the field and off the field. But Lamar's arguably the greatest one-man show in the sport right now. It's a run-first football team that really relies on his right arm to make magic happen, and they're not playing very good defense, the coach's point, so he's really having to do a lot. And then the other side, Joe Burrow. I mean, that offensive line, to bring them to the Super Bowl last year, they're still struggling. He makes an unbelievable amount of plays. He's given the whole organization a facelift, and they're a different organization and team because of him at quarterback.
At the beginning of the show, we should just be like, it's Joe Cool, Lamar Jackson. What more should we say? Right. Make sure you tune into it. But, guys, we're more than a quarter of a way through the season, which is crazy to even think, and so we're starting to see who's for real. Chris Sims, can you tell me whether or not the Giants are for real?
I don't know if they're for real, but what is real is they're 4-1. It might be the ugliest 4-1 in football that we've seen, but they play the right way. Daniel Jones is making good decisions, taking care of the football. Saquon Barkley is phenomenal running the ball, and when he gets ball in space, watch out. And then Wink Martindale coaching the defense the right way, all headed up by that guy right there, Brian Daboll. I'm proud of the Giants coach.
And speaking of real, there is real trouble in Pittsburgh. Without T.J. Watt, the defense is not making plays, and then offensively, there's no identity. They played against a Buffalo team that was minus a lot of players today. They couldn't make anything happen, only 3 points.
All right, what mattered to me was what was happening in New Orleans, guys. The shootout that we all expected to see. Taysom Hill, Geno Smith going up against each other, combined for 7 touchdowns. The team's 71 points in this meeting. We're going to have all of the highlights coming up because it was a crazy game in New Orleans. And, you know, we talk about Geno Smith. You know, they wrote him off. He's still not riding back a big game from him through the air, even though they had a loss, Chris.
Well, we got to give him credit, right? He's been phenomenal. I mean, I don't care that they lost today. He's one of the best things they got going on their football team right now. Big plays with his arm. He's taking care of the football. He's really been a shock of the league, I think, so far.
Playing with confidence, keeping them in every game.
Yeah, a great storyline to watch so far this season. And we are so happy to be sending back out to Baltimore where Catherine Tappan and Rodney Harrison are. Jack, again, off for the week because he's coming back from Vegas.
All right, Maria, thanks so much. This atmosphere is just awesome. It's a beautiful night here in Baltimore. We are surrounded by greatness.
KT, they're still a little quiet. Last year, they were a lot more loud.
They're nervous about this big game tonight against the Bengals, but you heard them talk about the earlier games in the afternoon. And, Rodney, what stood out to you about those 1 o'clock games today?
I'm a Patriot, but I'm going to talk about the Jets. And I think Robert Saleh, he's done a great job of instilling confidence and toughness into this team. I look at Zach Wilson. He didn't turn the ball over today. Offensively, they're running the football with these 2 young running backs. They scored 3 touchdowns. And on defense, they had a couple sacks, and they were all over the place creating turnovers. I like what he's doing. They're taking on the personality of their head coach, and we know that he's tough as nails.
Well, you look at the Giants, too, I have to say, with what Chris Sims said. These 2 teams love to talk trash in that area against one another. When one team's not playing well, neither of them can talk trash to the other team anymore.
But it's always good to have New York. But it's always good to have New York teams playing well.
They do indeed. All right. Well, how about this band comprised of more than 150 musicians and equipment crew? Baltimore's Marching Ravens is the largest musical organization associated with the NFL, and they are all geared up for Sunday Night Football. tonight, the NFL's mission to catch cancer early continues. Coaches and players sharing the messages as well. You can visit NFL.com/crucialcatch or text CATCH to 635-635 to find your local cancer screening center and additional screening resources. A very powerful message the NFL sending out there. We've got Edgar and Alan here. Poe, if you recall, has a busted chicken wing, so we've got his siblings here. But so much energy and atmosphere around here. But Rodney, these fans did not like it when you were critical of the Ravens defense. So what do the Ravens need to do to shore things up defensively?
Well, if I'm the defensive coordinator of the Ravens, the first thing I do is I simplify everything. I want my defenders to play fast. I don't want them thinking. I just want them to naturally react. But also, I'm holding my guys up front, these veteran players, I'm holding those guys accountable. Justin Houston, Calais Campbell, those guys got to do a lot better job securing the edge and making tackles in open field.
And you look at, the wideouts that the Bengals are going to bring in here, and you look at how dangerous they are. I mean, what are these matchups going to look like for Baltimore tonight?
Yeah, for me, it's Marlon Humphreys. He has to defend T. Higgins. He's a bigger corner. That's the matchup that he has to do. I'm looking at Marcus Peters. He's going to have to match up with Jamar Chase. He's going to have to be able to hold up on that side. But the most important guy tonight will be Marcus Williams, free safety. And he's responsible for all the communication in the deep part of the field. And he was brought in, he was paid a lot of money. But it's his job and responsibility to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that there's communicating, and you don't have these breakdowns and these miscommunications right here. There's no way you can have a great defense doing that.
Yeah, and don't forget about Tyler Boyd as well, that three-headed monster for the Bengals. So the Ravens are going to have their hands full in this one, and certainly Joe Burrow is going to want to look pretty good against this Ravens defense tonight. Chris caught up with the Bengals quarterback to talk about how he has adapted to life in the NFL.
Well, looky who we have here, if it isn't Joe Burrow. I don't think they realize what a big guy you are.
People are always very surprised when they see me how tall I am.
I mean, you're what, 6'4" and a half?
6'4".
And then, like, weight-wise?
I'm not that big. I'm 210, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
The only reason I would need to be heavier is to take all these hits, but I'm taking the hits just fine.
Yeah, you take them too well, actually. What was the point where you went, I need to throw the ball a little harder? And then kind of what did you do to fix it?
It was really some of the elements in the AFC North. And then you come up here and it's windy and it could be cold, and I couldn't cut the ball through the wind the way I really wanted to. My rookie year, I was more like back here, and I was following through with my whole body. And I think when you're doing this, you're going to come over the top a little more. It's not so much thinking about the hips, it's more so thinking about that front leg, just getting it down.
Yeah, sure.
So you get all those cleats in the ground.
Right.
Get a forceful stop at that left hip so you can come through with that back hip and get more power on it.
Right.
Or I'm lighter than I've ever been, but I'm throwing it as hard as I've ever thrown it before.
Weight training? Like, are we moving weights?
Yeah, I still lift heavy.
You do?
Yeah. That's something that I enjoy. Kind of relaxes me and makes me feel good.
Yeah. Your approach to life in the game is, like, really refreshing. All right? I'm a big fan of yours.
Appreciate that.
And keep balling and kicking butt, all right?
Thank you.
I love it. It's the Chris Sims quarterback school, but honestly, I hope that Sims learned how to be a little bit cooler from Joey Burrow. Probably not.
He liked my watch. I was like, can you give me some fashion tips, please? But I think that, no.
Well, then what did you learn?
Well, he is cool. He has a humble cockiness about him that's very rare, where he doesn't have to say a whole lot. He doesn't want to be the rah-rah guy, but you could tell he's given that whole organization confidence, and very self-aware.
Sure.
And that young to make adjustments to his game, knows what he needs to get better at. That's what I love about Joe Burrow. That's why he's so good.
All we have to look to is last season. Remember, he threw 525 yards. That was a franchise record, and 4 touchdowns against a decimated Ravens roster. But, Coach, you got the clicker. What have you seen so far from the Bengals
Well, we're going to show you why he's a little bit cocky. And Catherine and Rodney mentioned the 300 monster at receiver. They've got talented guys. Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They're special. They can all go deep. They can all get the ball. And all they want to do is figure out, you can't double everybody. Who's getting doubled?
Who's that one-on-one?
Miami takes the double over here. T. Higgins now has the one-on-one, and Joe Burrow's eyes light up, Chris.
Lights up. He doesn't care that it's Xavier Howard, one of the best corners in the sport. He drops back, and as soon as he kind of sees T. Higgins even, he throws it up because he knows he's leaving, Maria. Once it's even, he's leaving.
I like that.
T. Higgins makes that play, but that's what they're looking for. That's what they'll look for tonight. Who has the single coverage?
I love this aspect about them. That's why they are the big play Bengals. He's aggressive, and I love that too. But at the same time, they're a little too reliant on the Jimmies and Joes, and I'd like to see a little more X's and O's, Coach. Few formations, shifting. I know they can get away with it, but I'm worried about it against the better teams in the AFC.
You know what? I'm cool with the Jimmies and Joes because it's not Jimmy and Joe, it's Jamar and T. I'm all right with that.
Okay, Coach is like, I won Super Bowls with Jimmys and Joes. They're doing just fine. All right, Joe Burrow, obviously huge impact on the field, but off the field as well. On Tuesday, Burrow and his parents, Robin and Jimmy, launched the Joe Burrow Foundation, which is a nonprofit that will provide resources to families working to overcome food insecurity and childhood mental health struggles. Now, the foundation will focus in Ohio areas and Louisiana, where Joe, of course, played for LSU. The impactful work from the entire Burrow family is quite impressive. To the highlights we go. We start with the Bears on the road taking on the Vikings. Kirk Cousins looking for their third straight win to the fourth quarter. Coach, Cousins is intercepted, even though it was a great start by the way.
He was on fire in the first half, couldn't miss, but this gave the Bears a chance.
Yeah, he hit 17 straight passes, but right there he's intercepted by Kendall, and that led to a Bears field goal. They were up 22-21, then Cousins taking it in himself. 29-22 are the Vikings.
To his credit, he rallied from that interception, brought him back.
1:12 left in the game, Coach. Bears driving. They got a chance.
Getting in position, but this is a great play. Not giving up on it. Yes. Finish it off. Vikings defense.
Cameron Dantzler just rips it away from Smith Marset. On to the win. 29-22 go the Vikings. The Lions taking on the old school Patriots in that throwback uniform, Chris.
Love it.
Lions down 6-0. Jared Goff.
Well, old school ain't going for it on 4th and 9, okay? That's not old school.
What are they doing?
I don't know, and this is the second time in the first half they've done this, and it's 6-0. A field goal makes it 6-3. Now you're down 13-0 in New England against the Patriots defense.
Instead, Matthew Judon's going to take it to the house, and the Patriots are going to go up, like you said, 13-zip. But the rookie, Bailey Zappi, out of Western Kentucky, getting his first career start and looking pretty good.
He did a great job, just like last week. The running game of the Patriots was the star of the show, and then when people are open, Bailey Zappi hit him, and that was good to see. Good job by New England.
Don't worry, be Zappi. 29-zip for victory. All right, Seahawks taking on the Saints. Third quarter, Saints up 24-19. Taysom Hill, his only pass of the game, touchdown.
Seahawks expecting run, got a wide open receiver, and Taysom delivered it.
He also had 2 first-half rushing touchdowns. To the fourth quarter we go. Geno Smith, he's going to look deep down the middle, Coach.
You're never out of it with Geno, and Tyler Lockett gets behind the... I don't know how you get behind the defense when you're up 2 scores.
It's not Geno, it's Gene, yes.
Okay, that was a 40-yard touchdown. Then it's Kenneth Walker, who is in for the injured Rashad Penny, taking it to the house. 69 yards.
Big run, and now the Seahawks have the lead.
Yes, but the Saints, guess what? They're going to answer right on back. It's Taysom Hill again with the tote, 60 yards for the team.
Short yardage offense, Taysom in the Wildcat, and he barely outruns everybody to the end zone.
So the Saints get the victory, 39-32. Geno Smith, Taysom Hill combined for 7 touchdowns, but most impressively, look at those rushing touchdowns. Andy Dalton gets the start. Taysom Hill ultimately dazzles. What impressed you most about this offense you're seeing from the Saints?
Well, I think it's just a threat that he brings to the Saints offense in general. We see it's another thing you have to worry about, right? They're an offense that's not hitting on all cylinders right now. But, hey, we're down close to the red area. Let's get an extra guy in the run game, give our quarterback Taysom Hill the ability to run. Then, like Coach talked about before, you're expecting the run. Oh, wait, this guy can throw it and make a pass for a touchdown.
But this is what I like as a fullback. Lead blocking. I love it. Taysom Hill doing it all.
Well, Taysom Hill had to do everything in order to snap a 3-game losing streak, but ultimately they get the victory behind the run game of Taysom Hill.
Yeah, and I think this is something we need to see more consistently. It's the best offensive performance we've seen from the Saints in the post-Sean Payton era right here. And we know, in Jameis Winston not healthy, I think they need to lean on this Taysom Hill package even more as we go.
We used to see this when Drew Brees was a little bit banged banged up. You'd see more at Taysom Hill. I think they need to do this more.
All right, well, something else we want to report coming out of that game is that the rookie wide receiver Chris Olave left and did not return. It was ruled out with a concussion, and of course, head injuries have been a major focal point across the league over the last couple of weeks. As we bring in Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Mike, yesterday the NFL and the Players Union agreed to some changes to the concussion protocol. What are they exactly?
Well, Maria, the biggest change, and the key word is ataxia. That means abnormality in balance or stability, motor coordination, or speech dysfunction. If that is noticed in a player, he is going to be done for the day with no exceptions of any kind, cannot return. We saw that happen today with Dolphins quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. He was ruled out after the game. Coach Mike McDaniel said he passed the concussion test, but because he demonstrated ataxia, he was not permitted to return to the game. Moving forward, the battleground between the NFL and the NFL Players Association will be the role of the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. Remember, in the Tua Tagovailoa case, the union actually fired the UNC. The league disagreed with that, and the league wants to take away the ability of the union to unilaterally fire the UNC. The union believes the UNC in that case believed that he actually was answering to the league, not the union, and was actually disrespectful to the union in that investigation. So those conversations are going to continue moving forward as to the role of the UNC and the power to fire him if necessary.
All right, thanks for the update, Mike. And we have an update for you. Game-going final, a 43-yard field goal attempt to tie it for the Cardinals. No! This is wide right. Guess what, guys? Philly is 5-0. After week 5, and also Dallas got the victory. We will get you the highlights too. Our 4 o'clock games coming up later on in the show. Oh, also, is it spooky season?
Oh, it's Halloween.
If you're scared, say you're scared, Chris.
I'm not scared. I'm kind of banging
You're at the big boy table,
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
And we welcome you inside M&T Bank Stadium as Football Night in America continues in advance of the battle for the lead in the AFC North with Cincinnati and Baltimore. Mike Tirico, glad to have you down on the field. Just watching Evan McPherson and Justin Tucker kick 55, 60-yard field goals. If this game comes down to a late, long field goal, 2 of the best in the league are on each sideline. We know one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Lamar Jackson's here. He doesn't have his top receiver. Rashad Bateman's out tonight. That's going to hurt this team. But he does get back his best offensive lineman. Ronnie Stanley was an all-pro the last time he played a full season in 2019. Really, he's only played 1 game the last 2 years. He returns tonight. Could be a very big boost to an offense that's been pretty good so far. One the Bengals are going to have to try to stop. More on the Cincinnati defense. Back outside to Catherine and Rodney.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Well, Ronnie Stanley is coming back into a very challenging position when you look at the Bengals defense. And Rodney, what has made them so good so far this season?
I'm excited about the Bengals defense because these are a bunch of veteran players. They're smart and they play extremely hard. And when I look at the defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, he's going to be a very important part of this defense because he has to make sure that he contains Lamar Jackson and put that consistent pressure on him. But one guy that I've been extremely impressed with has been Luke Wilson, linebacker. He's the most underrated player on this team. He makes a lot of plays from sideline to sideline, KT.
All right, and I know you're also very excited about the secondary for this defense as well. We'll get to that a little later on, but for now, let's go back inside to Maria.
Thanks, Catherine, because we got to get right to the highlights. Texans taking on the Jaguars. Remember, this is Sim's team, the Jags. Game tied at 6. Trevor Lawrence will be intercepted in the end zone.
They're not my team anymore. Forget about it, all right? But no, I mean, this was an ugly offensive football game where Jacksonville controlled and was about to take total control there, and that was a bad interception by Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, we had to show this run. Dameon Pierce, 20-yard rush. He's only tackled by a shoestring, honestly.
Is this Jim Brown?
I mean, apparently, Coach, I know that makes you sick right there, being a defensive head coach, for sure.
Wrap him up.
Big time run.
Bulldozed his way and gets to punch it in. He deserves it after that run. The touchdown is good. That's the 3rd straight game with a rushing touchdown for Pierce. Houston is going to get the victory. Yeah, 13-6. Jacksonville's 9th straight loss to Houston. The Titans taking on the Commanders. Let's take you straight to the 4th quarter. 24 seconds left. Carson Wentz's pass is incomplete, Coach, but a pass interference is called.
So now they've got 1st and goal at the 1, but they don't have any timeouts they have to throw. And I didn't like these play calls down here. I didn't think they gave Wentz a chance. A lot of balls in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it's very tight into like dropping zoning linebackers by the Tennessee Titans. not a very risky throws, to Coach's point.
Yeah, that final throw was intercepted by David Long Jr. on 3rd down, so the Titans ultimately escape with their 3rd straight win, and that'll be the 4th straight loss for Washington. Let's go to the Chargers taking on the Browns.
Close your eyes, Coach. Not a lot of defense in this one.
4th quarter, Jacoby Brissett. He's going to scramble, and he's going to take it 20 yards.
Jacoby Brissett played really, really well, and this was a phenomenal play here. This is something we did not expect to see out of him, and he's made a few plays throughout the year with his leg, Maria, and then he does it again, and we're going, oh my gosh,
he's going to
look
take
at
it in.
Jacoby magic.
You're down 2. You can't throw an interception there. Got to give yourself a chance.
Big time no right there.
Yeah, so Gillum gets the pick on the ensuing Chargers drive. Brandon Staley decides to go for it.
What?
4th down and 46. Their own 46.
I don't even get it. And then there's to call a slant play on the backside. 3 steps and slant. That's the play we came up with in the big time situation. Luckily, bailed out here. Shankopotamus off to the right.
Yeah, Cade York misses that 54-yarder. The Chargers hold on to win it. Okay, Keenan Allen is out, nursing a hamstring injury, which means he is all over Twitter. What's the
He was thinking the same thing we were thinking.
Yes,
exactly right.
So glad he missed that, because man, okay, good win, guys. Let's hear what his coach, Brandon Staley, had to say about the decision.
I had a lot of confidence in our defense to go out there and get them stopped, and that was a big motive because we knew they would have to throw the ball to beat us, and we felt like we could cover them, and I love the way that our team finished that game because obviously the storybook would have been just to finish it right there, all right, and to walk to victory lane, but that's not how it went.
Okay, so I'm not going to attack the decision, but he was confident in his defense. They've allowed 29 points per game over the last 4 games.
Right.
And he talked about, we knew they would have to throw, so we felt like we could stop them. But, Chris, they're going to have to fix this run defense if they want to contend in the West.
I think so. I don't understand really that whole thought process. First off, Cleveland marched the ball up and down the field to them throughout the day. But Coach is right. This is the #1 issue. It's the 2nd year in a row. We thought with some of this new talent the Chargers had on the defensive side of the ball that we would see a new look Chargers football team that didn't have to put so much pressure on Justin Herbert, right, Coach?
David Njoku had a big game today, too, but it was really that run defense. Nick Chubb just slicing them up. They've got to get that fixed.
Yes. Yeah, Nick Chubb, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. And again, the Chargers narrowly escaped, but the inconsistency we are seeing clearly, although they walk away with the victory. We're waiting for our Sunday night, Week 5 Sunday NFL cap with Joe Cool getting set to take on Baltimore. Remember, he sliced and diced him up last season. Can he pull it off again this year?
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. $1 for 5 boneless wings with any handcrafted burger. And by Progressive, the right call to protect your home and car.
Living out my dreams, ain't out and born.
Music. What are you listening to? Who you jamming?
Kid Cudi.
This is what I've been waiting for in my life.
Growing up, that was my guy.
Cleveland guy.
Yo, what's good, Joe? I'm gonna come down there. I'm gonna come to one of your games. We gonna kick it.
We hung out after the Super Bowl. We're good friends now, so that's been awesome.
Make me feel like.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Joe Burrow, the man, the myth, the legend. He is pretty cool. I know I'm not cool enough, and I certainly know Matthew Berry's not cool enough to have Kid Cudi making a song about him, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right? Yet. Okay, yet. We'll see. But there are some things you're good at. I know that. Now, let's get to the BetMGM breakdown. Last year, we saw this Bengals, the big play Bengals, have their way with the Ravens in both matchups. You expecting the same thing tonight?
I am. It's because of this Ravens defense that's really struggled. They've given up over 300 passing yards in 3 of the 4 games this year, including to Joe Flacco and to Mac Jones. And so you heard Coach Dungy earlier today, or earlier in the show, talk about wanting to get those wide receivers on deep passes. They might double Jamar Chase, which means T. Higgins should be really involved. He's gone over 70 yards in 3 of his healthy games so far this year. I think he does it again tonight. You can attack that Ravens secondary, especially deep.
You're definitely right. The way they've been playing, you certainly can attack them. That's where I'd go Ravens. Back off. Play safe coverages. Don't let the big play Bengals strike. And they're not protecting the quarterback that well, so maybe your front 4 can get there without blitzing. Now, new customers can sign up for BetMGM with bonus code NBC150 and get $150 in free bets instantly after placing their first $10 bet. Maria, over to you.
All right, let's get back to the highlights. This was game 1 of our Sunday, Coach. Giants on the road, taking on the Packers in London. A lot of cheeseheads, though.
There were a lot of Green Bay fans.
I know. I think they made the trip. The Giants were down as much as 17-3, but the second quarter, we're going to see them start to come back, Coach.
Yes, and I love what Brian Dable is doing. He's getting the ball to his playmakers, getting Saquon Barkley in the open field, but calling a creative game.
Yeah, that was Bellinger on the double reverse for the 2-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter. We're all tied up at 20. Daniel Jones to none other than Saquon Barkley.
There's a way to get it to Saquon in space, and man, is he looking good now.
He does look good in space. He really is. He's unbelievable.
106 yards from scrimmage today from Saquon Barkley. Ooh, juke.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yes, he briefly did leave the game with a shoulder injury, but that wasn't enough to hold him out. Later in the drive, direct snap.
Another way to get him the ball. In the Wildcat, extra lead blocker, touchdown.
That was his third rushing TD of the season, and he had 2 all of last season, guys. The ensuing drive, though. Cue the Aaron Rodgers comeback, right, guys?
Not so fast.
Oh, okay. Just kidding.
Good job by the Giants getting their hands up, expecting the ball to come out quick with Rodgers.
But to me, this is where they missed Devontae Adams, that big receiver in the red zone who could always get open.
Agreed, Coach.
Yeah, you see it on that 4th down. That was incomplete. Giants take over on downs. Giants win 4-1. They match their win total from all of last season. Brian Dable's pretty hype about it, too.
Doing a great job, too.
We will have more on this game later, but first I want to get you out to Tampa Bay. Falcons taking on the Buccaneers. Bucs have lost 2 straight, but Brady never lost to Atlanta. Third quarter, Brady to Leonard Fournette.
And they came out throwing the football. The short passing game was really their running attack today.
All right, to the fourth quarter, the Bucs trying to ice the game after Atlanta scored twice to close the gap. Third down, Brady is sacked.
What?
It's played by Grady Jarrett.
But what happened,
this should
Coach?
be punting the ball here. Roughing the passer.
I don't even get it. Me and Coach were in Maria. We were all yelling at the TV screen.
I'm with you,
Illegal
Arthur
tackling.
Smith.
I don't know.
I'm with you, Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith can't believe it. Grady Jarrett can't believe it. A fresh set of downs for the Buccaneers. They inch their way out with that victory. Coach, I mean, what was going through your mind when you saw the call?
Well, when I saw the play, I couldn't believe it. But, Maria, there is an emphasis now on protecting the players, which we have to. Concussions, all those things. I called the league office. I talked to them. I said, define roughing the passer to me. Read the rule. They defined it to me, and this did not fit roughing the passer as I see it. And this is Jerome Boger last week. Jerome Boger is a great official. He called this roughing the passer last week. Not a good call.
Right.
To me, the league office has to get that fixed and say, you know what? We want to protect the players, but that is not roughing the passer. Now, same official today. I don't know what else Grady Jarrett can do, Chris.
I don't either. And to me, again, this is just tackling a player that happens to be the quarterback. I feel like it's a little bit of an overreaction or overcorrection to the Tua Thursday night injury.
Absolutely is. Right. But if you cannot tackle the quarterback, it's going to be impossible to play defense.
Yeah, a game-changing call right there. And, of course, our defensive-minded coach didn't like to see it.
No.
I promise you we talk about that Giants-Packers game. And the next-gen stats powered by AWS tell us that Aaron Rodgers failed to complete any of his 6 deep passes today, his most without a completion since 2016. So, Chris, walk me through what we're seeing. What are the difficulties in this Green Bay offense?
Well, this is an issue for them right now. I mean, we know Aaron Rodgers is good, and they're trying to be efficient, but it's a dink and dunk passing game right now. There is not a lot of aggressiveness throwing the ball down the field. Here, he's got Allen Lazard over the middle. Who knows what he gets after the catch, but instead, it's a conservative throw to the back out of the backfield. And then when it is a deep shot, it's like, oh, it's just one-on-one and let's throw it out there. There's no aggressiveness within the natural schemes of the passing or drop-back passing offense. And I think it's going to be hard for them to beat the really good defenses in the NFC this way.
We saw a lot of targets to Randall Cobb today.
Right.
We're just not seeing that chemistry with the other receivers yet. I'm sure Aaron's going to say relax.
Right.
But
we're a little concerned.
Right. All right, on the flip side of that for the Giants, it's their best start since 2009. They're sitting at 4-1. Time for a PFT update brought to you by Google Pixel. Mike, you spoke to their head coach, Brian Daboll, after the win.
Yeah, and Maria, one thing he said to me is he's on the lookout for built-in excuses, and they can have plenty of them so far this year. All the injuries they've had, they have to fly to London to play a game. Now they have to come home and play a game next week, and they don't have a bye. They have to face the Ravens. He says he wants no one in the organization to ever make any excuses. And that sounded familiar to me because he used to work for the Patriots. I said, is that something you picked up from Bill Belichick? He said, no. No excuses comes from my grandmother. And they could have made excuses down 17-3, but the spark came from that play we saw earlier, the double reverse run. Daboll actually called that last year on a Monday night as the offensive coordinator to the Bills. for a 2-point conversion. It was a pass then. He told Daniel Bellinger, if the run's there, I want you to take it. And Bellinger told him after the game, I could hear your voice in my head. I knew I could get in, and he did.
You better listen to your grandma, your big ma, your nona, whatever she says. All right, we're still waiting for Lamar Jackson. I went over to Baltimore, had a conversation with him. I'll let you know if that footwork he shows on the field translates to dancing. That's all the tease I have.
This is what happens when we get together.
Line drive, end over end. Cut it back to the middle, into the end zone. He's got a lane. Kick is on its way. And it is good.
This is what happens when we get together.
Caught for the touchdown. Let's go. Let's have fun here. Touchdown with a tumble. How about that, sports fans?
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Together.
All right, guys, the Ravens flock is getting set right now in Baltimore.
That might be Ray.
Ray's not that sloppy, coach. Okay?
Oh, these are
and Reed, a legend.
I love it.
Both names.
Come on, Ocho Cinco. Come on, Chad Johnson. Either one of y'all. Oh, the Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper?
Spooky season, coach.
Oh, T-Sizzle.
That's what's up.
There's some good names in this rivalry.
Oh, I got a great name for you guys. How about Lamar Jackson?
Heard of him.
He has been nothing short of dazzling so far this season. I had the chance to go one-on-one with him to break down some of his tape, both on and off the field. First thing I wanted to do is just show you film of you.
He's got room.
Have you ever looked back at him and been like, but that play?
I'll probably go back and watch some high school or something.
Really?
Yeah, I go back that deep. Like, I wouldn't really look at the NFL games because I feel like I could have did something better.
So would you consider yourself, like, very critical of Lamar Jackson?
I am. That's why the outside noise don't bother me.
What's the greatest criticism that you've heard about your game?
Probably when I was coming into the league, like, oh, trying out for running back, receiver, like stuff like that. I'm like, nobody told me this. Not bad for a running back.
You know you like to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to break down some film of you dancing.
Okay.
What's this?
Oh, no, that was the little... My sister had me do it. They were like, you doing it wrong. Hey, that's my move right there, too.
You can work on dancing.
I can work on that.
You can work on that.
I really can dance if I wanted to. You know, I got a little rhythm with me.
But the feet are backwards.
Yeah, because I was being funny at that time.
I just really thought the footwork would work with dancing, and it just seems like it hasn't really translated. So we're going to work on that. That's all I'm saying. I wanted to break down a little bit of that.
All right, say less. We're going to work on that. We're going to work on the dancing then.
Okay, well, you brought this up earlier. We actually have a high school highlight.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. So you ready? You're going to have to tell me everything about this highlight.
All right, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Who we playing?
Village Academy. They had a pep rally, and I'm seeing it on social media. Like, they got their Tiger beating our Tiger.
How many did you score on them?
I don't even remember. We had a field day with them, though. It was like 50-8. I remember that because I was mad.
Okay, so that's a PSA for everybody out there. Don't make Lamar mad.
I think I like it, dude. Like,
really? Do you feed off of that?
Yeah, I see it, but I ain't gonna let you know I seen it. Like, just gonna play ball. It's like that's where that confidence come from. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show you I can do it.
I had so much fun sitting down with Lamar, and he really does feed off of that criticism. Remember, he was a 3-star recruit. Coaches were telling him he couldn't play quarterback in college. Then he gets to the combine, told again he can't play quarterback. And here he is, just been an MVP, being a superstar all season, and it's been impressive what he's been able to put on tape so far this year.
It has, and we're going to show you a little bit about how tough it is to defend these Ravens and why, and a lot of it is Lamar Jackson. Here's the package now. They've got all their big people in, extra tight ends. They've got 2 backs and Lamar, and that forces you, Chris, to put 8 people at the line of scrimmage, and watch what this play action does to these linebackers. Everybody's attacking the line of scrimmage because you've got to. And here goes Mark Andrews.
Right down the seam. You're worried about the run game. You're worried about the Lamar Jackson run game. You suck up to the run fake. And then this is what he's amazing at right here, Maria. He will dice you up in the pocket. He's making better decisions and better high-level throws than at any point of his career this year.
Now, everybody says, hey, Andrews, he's the main target. You got to stop him. Well, okay, let's double him. And that's what happens here. Okay, we're going to take care of him. He's not open, but what does that do for
Well,
Lamar?
then now there's a But now there's a running lane, and you don't have enough people to contain Lamar Jackson.
That kind of space.
Exactly right. And then here we go. We're off to the races, and everybody's chasing him, and that's where he's special. He really is. They're a run-first passing football team, which is very rare to say because you got to stop that run, but Lamar, he makes you pay in the pass game.
Yeah, he broke Michael Vick's record for a quarterback with 100-yard games in week 2, and now he has 12 career 100-yard rushing games, so he can do it all, and he's certainly proven that. All right, let's get you back to the highlights and see what the Jets were able to prove against the Dolphins. Teddy Bridgewater on this play is hit by the rookie corner Sauce Gardner in the end zone. It's ruled intentional grounding and a safety.
Right, it was he's out of the game, concussion protocol, nice creative blitz there. It wasn't the right call with the intentional grounding, but either way, the Jets are up 2-0.
So the rookie Skylar Thompson is in from Kansas State, the 7th-round pick for Miami. In the 4th quarter, Dolphins down 9. Thompson sacked by Carl Lawson. Big Q comes up with it.
They did a good job today, though, for the most part. But this Jets defense, the one thing Robert Saleh's got them flying around. They're opportunistic. They're making some big plays. And yet, don't tackle that guy in space, Tyreek Hill.
Breece Hall on this one out of Iowa State. The 5-yard touchdown run is good. Check it out again.
Great job.
Yeah, that was great. 197 yards from scrimmage for Hall. Dolphins facing 4th and 1. Tripped up there by Quan Alexander. Robert Saleh is absolutely loving it, getting the victory. The Jets have a winning record. Meanwhile, the Steelers going on the road, taking on the Bills. Just know that the wind was swirling. It should have been hard to make this throw.
Well, Buffalo's going against the wind.
Right.
Steelers defensive back squad. It's going to be a medium range pass. No, 60-yard laser.
They don't know who they're dealing with there.
Right.
He's used to throwing through that wind.
Spotting report.
Yeah, right.
Arm, maybe.
Kind of strong.
First drive of the game. That tells you what you have to look forward to. 2nd quarter. Allen, do you want to find Davis again?
Now we're going with the wind. You might want to back up.
Back up more. That's right.
Look at this one-handed grab, though. Minka Fitzpatrick looked like he was right there, Coach. Looked like he could have pulled it out. Nah.
But Gabe Davis got it going. 2 big catches early in the game to get things started.
Yeah, Bills need him to produce.
Josh Allen, a career-high 424 passing yards today. The rookie, Kenny Pickett, he's meeting some veterans here. Going to run into Von Miller.
Buffalo was playing short-handed on defense, but they did have Von Miller, and he's a guy that can make plays.
All right, I have so many questions, Coach, but we got to start with the Steelers and just the inability to create anything on offense right now.
No T.J. Watt has hurt the defense, but offensively, Pittsburgh for 40 years has been a running football team.
Right.
They're not running the ball, and that leads to putting too much pressure on whoever the quarterback is.
No question. It's going to be interesting to see what their plan of attack is, but that's not the kind of game they want to be in today. A shootout with Josh Allen is not how Pittsburgh's going to win.
All right, let's talk about the Jets because they've really relied on some young talent. We're going to say the baby Jets fly.
The baby Jets.
That's what we've been seeing, right, Chris?
We have, certainly, throughout. Whether it's Zach Wilson, the quarterback, Elijah Vera Tucker, their 2nd-year lineman, who's the best lineman on their football team. Breece Hall has added some playmaking ability out of the backfield. Here, you see his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and then make something happen with the ball in his hands. Michael Carter, he's been really good, of course, in the run game, in the pass game. They got Garrett Wilson, a receiver, Elijah Moore at receiver. They got a lot of things. That's just the offensive side of the ball. We're not even hitting the defense yet, Maria. Sauce, yeah, he's saucy out there. It's hard to get open against him, and they got some guys that fly around, and they're having fun right now, Coach.
You know what? That's the thing I see.
Yeah.
Having fun.
Right.
Yeah, the Jets had 3 first-round draft picks. They're all obviously contributing. Let's bring back in Mike Florio. As for the Dolphins, though, a couple of big injuries for their offense today.
Well, we already know that the top 2 quarterbacks on the Dolphins depth chart, Tua Tagovailoa, Teddy Bridgewater, in the concussion protocol. Their top receiver, Tyreek Hill, was in a walking boot after the game. He had his foot stepped on. I'm told it's nothing serious, but the bottom line is he was in a walking boot after the game. They have the Vikings next week.
All right, thanks for the update, Mike. It's time now for the Sunday 7 featuring a $100,000 jackpot. Matthew, more receiving yards, Jamar Chase or Mark Andrews?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jamar Chase here, Maria. No team in the NFL gives up more receiving yards or more deep receptions to wide receivers than the Baltimore Ravens. Chase, who had 326 yards in 2 games against Baltimore last year, should have another big game again tonight. I like him to have more receiving yards than Mark Andrews. And this is always fun with Sunday Night 7. Who's got the first touchdown of the game? How about Mark Andrews? That's my choice. 6 red zone targets in his last 2 games. He's got 39% of Baltimore's red zone targets this season. That is top 5 in the NFL. No Rashad Bateman. Give me Mark Andrews' first touchdown tonight, just for fun, Maria.
All right, you can agree or you can disagree, but either way, make your pick for free on NBC Sports Predictor app. We'll be right back.
Sunday night kickoff.
In case you behind, oh, let me remind you the way that I make my move.
The jewels, are they real?
They're definitely real.
Heard about me, what they say about you. Heard about me, what they say about you. Bye, on fire, baby, can't douse it.
Yeah. You wanna sit front row? As fashion killer me, I'm a cutthroat. Paparazzi gon' think that I'm cuffing now. People see us everywhere and they just stare.
I just think they're pretty cool. What do you think?
Fashion week, I soon is too soon. Hey.
Well,
Two fashion-forward quarterbacks here, and both Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson looking to make a statement tonight in the AFC North. Lamar coming off his worst performance of the season last week against Buffalo. Burrow coming into tonight on a hot streak. He's thrown 5 touchdown passes in his last 2 games. No picks, but Rodney, let's focus on Burrow. And what's one area that you want to see him improve upon?
Yeah, he has to do a better job of helping out his offensive line by getting rid of the football and not holding it. A 5-yard check down, it's okay, but you can't put that type of pressure on your offensive lines against this defense.
All right, let's take you on the field, presented by Hyundai, and zero in on Cincinnati Bengals running back Joe Mixon. And one thing that can slow down the Ravens is if Joe Mixon gets going tonight.
I actually just talked to Joe Mixon, and I asked him, I said, Joe, what's up, man? Now you going to have a big game? He says, hey, I'm just patiently waiting. It's going to happen. But I believe you got to give him the ball 15 to 20 times. I don't care if it's running. I don't care if it's catching the ball out of the backfield. Eventually, he's going to break a big play.
And on the other side of the field, so far, the #1 option for Lamar Jackson has been Mark Andrews, the tight end.
Yeah, this is Lamar's favorite target, but it can't be tonight. It cannot be all Mark Andrews tonight. He's got to do a good job of spreading the ball around, being aggressive down the field, and when everything breaks down, he just got to be Lamar and make a play.
All right, these fans are ready. They're cheering your name.
Are you guys ready?
For the Bengals, they're cheering for the Ravens, and we're going to send it back inside to Maria.
All right, thanks, KT. No one here cheering our names, but Maria, Taylor, Tony Dungy, and Chris Sims still here with you. And we got a few more highlights, guys. You want to run through them?
Let's do it.
All right, San Francisco taking on the Carolina Panthers. We will start there. Baker Mayfield trying to get it going on offense, but just before halftime, Panthers down 10-3. Mayfield is intercepted.
Right. Keyword there was trying to get it going, Maria. And yes, double cock the ball there, throws it too hard through the hands of McCaffrey, and Emmanuel Mosley, who later got hurt, unfortunately, gets the big pick-6 interception.
Defensive coordinator Nico Ryan going crazy at first in scoring and total defense in the NFL. Then Jimmy G to Debo. We've seen it before.
Yes, we have. And between the running game and if Jimmy G can play like he did today, the 49ers could be one of the best teams in the NFC. That's for sure.
All right, they get the win 37-15. Eagles on the road taking on the Cardinals. A tie game in the 4th. Eagles facing 3rd and 12. Hurts to Dallas Goedert for 16 yards.
Arizona brings the blitz, and Hurts makes a very good throw to keep the drive going.
All right, the Eagles would kick a field goal to go ahead 2017. Cardinals trying to answer. Murray scrambles, but slides just short of the first down. Kingsbury thought he got the first.
Well, that was critical. He started the slide a little too early. They spiked the ball, but now it's 4th down.
Yeah, that is a tough one. So Matt Amendola, 43 yards out to tie the game. It's no good. Wide right. The Eagles remain the only unbeaten team
Eagles,
in the NFL. And guess what? They're on Sunday Night Football next week. They got Dallas at home. I think I'm going to go on the road for that one.
Yeah,
Coach, you want to go? All right, let's talk about those boys,
Just
though.
leaving me here by myself.
Taking on the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 0 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Opening drive. Stafford is sacked by Armstrong. DeMarcus Lawrence picked it up.
Well, how do we not feel bad for Matthew Stafford right now?
First off, the story of the game.
The story of the game. It was a party at Matthew Stafford every time he dropped back to pass.
Right. The Cowboys had 5 sacks, 3 takeaways today, and then Tony Pollard taking the handoff to the house.
Big plays by Pollard. Cooper Rush taking care of the football, hitting receivers when they're open, and then the pass rush that Coach talked about, making winning formula for Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys up 16-10 after that TD. To the 4th quarter we go. Rams down 12.
Uh-oh, Coach.
Here we go. Stafford looking deep, Coach.
Yeah, and we'll blame this on Matthew Stafford. What's wrong with him? But this was all day long, just getting after him, throwing off balance, throwing while you're getting hit. You're going to get worn down as a quarterback.
No question.
Dallas gets the win, 22-10. So every victory has come without Dak Prescott, but they're only allowing 13.3 points per game during their 4-game winning streak. Oh, I love that. Micah Parsons is right there. 2 sacks today. Time now for our Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. Chris, let's talk about what you're seeing out the Dallas defense.
Well, it's creating creativity, and of course a front four that's very impressive, just to beat people man to man. But then Dan Quinn does a great job of creating mismatches, and they're winning the game with defense, playmaking, special teams.
And it starts up front,
right?
Defensive linemen. How often do we see defensive linemen block kicks?
No, and you're exactly right. Dorrance Armstrong, who already had the strip sack fumble to create the first touchdown, he blocks the punt. And then DeMarcus Lawrence, Michael Parsons, that might be the best pass rushing duo in football. And there's the creativity that we're talking about from Dan Quinn. Great blitz, and like Coach said, they were all over Stafford all game long.
That was the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive.
38 yards rushing and a whole ton of pass pressure.
All right, tell me this, because we just gave you the sneak peek. Will their defensive front have exactly what it takes to go against that Philly offensive front that we've seen have so much success in their 5-0 start?
Different animal this week. When you got to defend all those runs and read options and different things, you can't just tee off and rush.
No, it is. It's hard. Philly has so many answers to compound everything you do. But I do think the first thing you need to do to beat Philadelphia is have a front four to go, we don't have to overplay the run or overplay blitzing, because we can get to the quarterback or stop the run. So at least they do have that advantage going into this one.
Ooh, it's going to be a good one on Sunday night.
See you guys later.
Yeah, bye. Anytime there's a great game, we're leaving Chris. We are getting set right now in Baltimore, where John Harbaugh and the Ravens have lost a franchise record 5 straight home games. They're trying to snap the streak tonight against Zach Taylor and the Bengals. It's Sunday Night Football and the best of Week 5 coming up. The countdown is on. Lamar Jackson playing like an MVP, trying to get his Baltimore Ravens back on track and winning at home.
I'm excited to see him tonight. Are you wearing purple because of him?
I am. Best of Week 5 brought to you by Verizon.
One interview.
Giants and Packers. It happens every week. Catch on. In London, the Giants defeat and shut out Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense in the second half.
Great job by Xavier McKinney there, getting hands up to tip the ball. Rodgers throwing a back shoulder there. Giants win.
What a day for the Jets rookie, Bryce Hall.
Yes, and a lot of young guns on that Jets team. They came out with some fire today.
Breece Hall, 197 total yards and that touchdown. Okay, Josh Allen just having a career day, 424 passes.
Hey, this just in. He can kind of throw it far down the football field. That was perfect coverage. It's just a perfect throw. And what a catch by Gabe Davis.
Okay, Washington was going for the win in the final seconds, couldn't connect.
Had a chance, but the Titans defense slammed the door on the goal line.
Okay, everyone's going to be questioning Brandon Staley and the decision to go for it on 4th down, but ultimately walks away with the win after this missed field goal.
That's right. The Browns field goal kicker bailed them out. Yep. So the Chargers win in an offensive showdown out in Cleveland.
All right, the Bears were driving to tie the game in the final minute against the Vikings. Coach?
Vikings defense had to make a play, and Cam Dantzler did it to seal the victory for them.
Vikings 4-1 off to their best start since 2016. And then, guys, we had the ultimate shootout is what I'm going to call it between the Seahawks and the Saints. Taysom Hill, Geno Smith, it was a barn burner.
It was a barn burner. And Taysom Hill was really a big part of the football game, the difference in the game for the New Orleans Saints. They need him to be a part of the offense when Jameis gets back, or Andy Dalton at quarterback. It doesn't matter.
He accounted for 4 touchdowns and a big day for Leonard Fournette, 139 total yards.
Tom Brady in the passing game and a very questionable roughing the passer call sealed.
Yes, the 49ers taking on the Panthers. It's tough time for Baker Mayfield in Carolina.
It really is, and it's not all on Baker Mayfield. We like to blame the quarterback. That offense is not good, and the 49ers defense is arguably the best in football. They're rolling right now.
Ooh, yeah, D'Amico Ryan, keep on dancing. That was Emmanuel Mosley with the 41-yard pick 6. Cowboys taking on the Rams. Dallas defense showed up.
I think the Dallas Cowboys might be arguing
right?
the best defense in football right now. They play after play after play, got after Matthew Stafford all day.
4th straight win for the Cowboys, and that was impressive by the D. Eagles taking on the Cardinals. Came down to this.
That's right. Kyler Murray, valiant effort at the end, slid just a little too early. They had to spike it, missed the field goal. Eagles undefeated.
All right, that is the best of Week 5 brought to you by Verizon, the network America relies on. Coach, I want to get your biggest takeaway from what we've seen so far in Week 5.
To me, it was the Dallas Cowboys. They've got a formula now how to win. A little bit of Cooper Rush and a lot of defense.
The NFC East in general. I mean, who would have thought the Cowboys are where they are when Dak Prescott went down week one, and then the Giants. I mean, that's the shocker of all of football right now. They beat Aaron Rodgers down like that in London. That was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, if I would have told you Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, just 2 losses between those 3 teams right through week 5. Yes, they're most absolutely balling. Time now for the home team picks, brought to you by Lowe's. Let's send it out to KT.
All right, Maria, thanks so much. Well, it is America's pick first and foremost, and 56% of the fans are choosing the home team, Baltimore Ravens. But I've got Rodney Harrison to protect me leaving this field because I got to go with Cincinnati. Rodney, I like what I've seen the last couple weeks, trying to make it 3 in a row against a tough division opponent. That's my pick, Cincinnati. What are you looking for in this game tonight?
For me, I'm looking at the Baltimore Ravens secondary. Will they give up big plays? Will they have any miscommunications back there? But with all that being said, I got to ride with the Bengals.
So we're both going to have to help each other off this field. All right, Mike Florio, how about you?
Well, look, 5 straight home losses for the Ravens. They were embarrassed last year in Baltimore by the Bengals. This is one of those nights where you just believe in John Harbaugh, Matthew Berry. The Ravens find a way to win.
You know what, Mike? I actually agree with you. 2 great offenses, so you pick, to me, who's the best offensive player on this field, and it's Lamar Jackson. Give me the Ravens to right the ship against the Bengals tonight.
Yeah, and I didn't dress up like Barney to not pick the Ravens, so I'm going to go with them.
Okay, that's very nice of you to do, Lamar. I'm going to take the Ravens as well. After that loss last week, John Harbaugh, I got too much faith in him, and I think the simplicity of the Bengals offense plays into the hands of the struggling Ravens defense.
Yeah, Cincinnati offense goes after big plays. The Ravens defense gives up big plays. I think Cincinnati has the better defense. I'm picking the Bengals.
All right, those were tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. Baltimore, they look like they're ready. It's only week 5, but we've got a potentially season-defining game in the AFC North. It's the Bengals, it's the Ravens. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and Melissa Stark have the call after Carrie Underwood gets things started. See you at the half.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.